Yo, what's going on? It's Jay, and today we have another video for you guys, and it's a highly requested one being how to upload files to Supabase from Nordcraft. But ladies and gentlemen, today we are not doing this video alone. We're going to be joined by a legend himself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lucas G. I'll put him somewhere here. I don't really know, but he'll pop up somewhere. And we even got the orange, his iconic orange color in the background because he did help me out. I was missing something with this project that was completely stumping me, and he did help me out today. So we want to be appreciative of that. And he's going to be joining us for a 2-day tutorial. So let's hop right into it. To start, we're going to be here in Supabase, and we're going to go over to storage because there's a few things that we have to set up here. By a few, I mean it's going to be like literally like 2 things, right? So for one, we're going to need a bucket. A bucket, just think of it like a folder, and this is where you can sort of set up, like in the last video, we talked about row level security. You can set up different row level securities for things like, say, in this example, we're going to have a avatars folder, which we want it to be public because we want everybody to be able to see the avatar image. But say you have things like private files, you might want to have another folder for like, I guess, files, and then there you would have a folder to where it's the user's ID, and then you would have a row level security rule that would say, hey, users can use any folder here as long as that folder name is equal to their ID. So that means anything, like only the things in that user's folder they can access. So things like that. So in today's example, we're going to have a avatars bucket, like I said. So we're just going to call it avatars. And this is going to be a private bucket. This just means that anything in here, anybody can read. I'm not really concerned about row level security here because this is an avatars thing and you kind of want everybody to be able to read that. So we'll press save there. And kind of like in the last video when I talked about row level security, and if you have it enabled and you have no rule in place, nothing can be done. That is the exact same thing here. Here, you have to have row level security rules. Otherwise, you can't do anything for like uploads and updates and stuff like that. So we're going to keep it simple. To set up that row level security, we're going to come over here to policies, and we're going to do it in the other policies under storage objects. This just means it's going to apply to everything, like all the buckets that we have here, which might be what you want. Basically, we're just going to set up a rule here. We're going to say new policy. I'm going to just do full for full customization, and we're just going to call it authenticate. As you can see, I've done this a few times. Authenticated users can upload avatars, something like that. And we'll say it is on insert and authenticated. And then all we need to put here is true. So all this policy is saying is that for any bucket that we create, only authenticated users can upload to those buckets. So now that we got that, that should be everything we need in Supabase. I'm just going to that should be everything that we have to set up here in Supabase. So now we can come over to Nordcraft. Now in Nordcraft, you're going to need just one thing, and that's going to be a form with some upload input, with some file input. So you see here, I just have an input, and I have it set to the type of file, and that's basically all you need. So once you have that, let's go ahead and create a file variable. And just so you know, for this video, it will only be for one image or one file at a time. If you want to do multiple files, you would pretty much do the same process, but you would just iterate it over all the files that you have, right? I'll show you what I mean by that here in a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're just going to have a variable called file, and then on this input, where the event for input on change right here, we're going to set that file variable. And instead of doing it this normal way, what we're going to do here is going to be event target, and then it's not an option here, but there is more information in this variable. And to get what we need, we're going to add a get, and we're going to say files. And for this example, I'm only going to get the first one of that. So this is going to give us an object. I can show you quickly what that looks like if we go to log it and say event target get files. I'm gonna have to sign in here. We'll see. Yeah, I think I gotta sign in. Maybe. Yeah, we do. So let me quickly sign in here. Actually, I'll do that in. Your sorry, just for context, you will have to have authorization already set up like we did in the last video because we're going to be using that here. Because like I said earlier, we're using row level security. So you do need to be authenticated in order to do this, at least for this tutorial. And let me go ahead and get that from my email really quick. Okay, we should be authenticated now. So now I should be able to go to dashboard like that. And I'll show you in the console that when we update this, you know what, let me not show you everything that's in here. Let me go get a file real quick. I'm just gonna, okay, we got a cat picture. Let's go ahead and do choose file. We'll get that cat picture. And as you can see here, this is what we're getting here when I set that up. Let me go back to the upload files. There we go. So this is what we're getting from this. And all we're doing is, since I'm only showing you how to do a single upload at a time, I'm basically saying, hey, get only the first one in here. So instead of that, it becomes like this. If I refresh and we do this again, there we go. So this is all the information that we have on the file, which is what we're going to need to pass to Supabase. So now that we have our file, we're going to need to make 2 API requests. So we're going to come over here to APIs and we're going to select the default one for Supabase. I'm going to turn off auto fetch. And I'm just going to call this Supabase generate pre-signed token. So what this API is going to do is basically we're going to say, hey, Supabase, I have this file that I want to upload. Can you give me basically a password to upload this file? Okay. And that's going to be needed in the next API request. So for this API request, where this has to deal with storage. So we're going to change this from REST to storage. And in the path is going to be a pretty long one. I believe it was, I might have to reference the API documentations here, but I believe it was object, then upload, then sign, then this is where you would put the name of your bucket. So the bucket that we have, only have one, and it's avatars. So this is where you put the name for your bucket. I'm assuming it's avatars if you're following along with this tutorial. So we'll say avatars. And then here, we're just going to put the file name, which we get from the file variable. And we're just going to say get and name. Because as you saw here, we have a name within that file. Okay. And then we're going to also have to make sure that we have the user's token in here. And this is not going to be application JSON. So you just take that off. And that should be our first request. So we can give this a try really quick. If we upload one, and then I say that, Jason, okay, for some reason I'm not signed in again. Let me, okay, yeah, apparently I'm not. I must have my authentication messed up somewhere because it shouldn't be signing me out this quickly. Sorry about that. We'll just do this again very quickly. I might just cut this part out depending on how long it is. Okay, now we can go back and upload our cat picture, and then boom, you see we get a URL and we get a token back, which is what we're going to need for this next request. So for this next one, let's just go ahead and copy and paste this same one here. And we're just going to change this to Supabase upload file. And I'm just going to change this to be a put request. So a few things are going to change here. We're going to remove all of these like so. And then in inputs, we're going to add 2, which is going to be that URL and the token that we got from the last API request. So we'll say add a new input. This one is going to be URL, and we're going to add another one for token. Now in URL, all we have to do for this path is say, hey, this is going to be equal to the URL, right? And then in our header here, instead of our authorization key, we're going to come into here. And instead of this get HTTP only cookie, we're going to change this to be the token, just like that. And then the content type, we do have to change to multi-part slash form. Yeah, something like that. Multi-part / form dash data. And then I believe last thing that we have to do is come to the body, and we're going to create an object called file. And then that's just going to be the value. It's going to be our file. Let's double check that. I have a URL and a token input, and this is going to be the URL, the path. Then the headers, we have the API key, and we have the token that we received from the previous API call, and then multi-part / form data, and then the body being our file. Okay, that sounds correct. So all we're going to do now is on the submission of this form, we're going to do generate the pre-signed token. And on the success of the pre-signed token, we want to do the upload file. And now you're going to see here's where we can put in our inputs, is that we can say that the token is going to equal to, well, if we want to, we can just run this real quick so that we can see the values. And I'll just do that. And we will do this generate like that. So then we can come back to events and we can see the detail. And then which one this is? The token. And then we're going to also add the URL, detail, and sorry, it's supposed to be URL. There we go. And then on the success of that, of the upload, I'll just log that we were successful. Something like that. Do whatever you want there. Okay, and I believe that is all we need, and we can give this a try. So if I go in here and I do upload that cat image and we do upload and we go to network, oh, I guess I don't have to. I did have it logged here that we were successful, but we can see here is our pre-signed token. I think I got to make this bigger for you guys. You see here, we got our token, and then here is telling us where we uploaded that file. So we can check this in Supabase in the avatars folder. And as you can see, we got our cat picture just like that. And that is basically all it is for this tutorial. And again, if you want to do multiple files, all you have to do is just change this to file or files, sorry. And then in the update here, instead of just getting 0, you just remove this, right, to get all the files. And then you want to basically loop this, generate a token, and then upload for every single one of those files if you want to do it with multiple. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Short and sweet. Again, thank you to Lucas for helping me out with here. I was kind of stuck on one part, But that is all for today. And if you like this video, please subscribe. And if you want to sign up for Nordcraft, my affiliate link will be in the description below. I hope you have a great rest of your day.